So welcome everyone. Welcome to the Power Half Hour. And this week we have a very special guest, our very own Mark Neustaedter from Calgary. Welcome, Mark.
Hey, thanks, John.
Yeah, so Mark, you've had an extraordinary year so far. But do tell us, how did you get started 5 years ago? What you do before, and just give us a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, for sure. And again, thanks for having me. Excited to share it. When I put that post out last week, number one in the wrong chat in our group, but anyway, never mind. I just wanted people to be encouraged that you can start from scratch at age 47
Wow.
in real estate and have success. I'm 52 now, but so I've been licensed 5 years as of April 26th, and I spent the previous 20 years, really my whole adult life, selling. So I was in advertising sales. I sold radio, outdoor, some niche products, worked for a sports team. So I had a lot of varied experiences, in sales, getting me finally into real estate, which I should have done when I was 30. But anyway, you can't change what you had for breakfast. So, you just move forward and do what you can to make hay while the sun is shining, even at age 52.
Absolutely. So you've had previous sales experience, and then you got into it at age 47 for a second career. I mean, that takes a lot of courage, right? And then what was going through your mind in that, just making that jump?
Well, you know what? It was an interesting time, and my cousin, who was a very successful realtor in Calgary, had a team, and he was looking for a new agent to come on board and to sit at a show suite for these really cool concrete townhomes in Calgary. And so I took that on, and I was working on my license at the same time. Unfortunately, I was going through some horrible marital problems, which ended up in a separation and divorce, which is always sad. It's never how you plan your life out to be. Mm-hmm. But I had zero, and I mean, I love my cousin, he's super successful, but I had zero guidance on how to do your first 90 days in real estate. I should have been calling everyone I knew. Hey, I'm a realtor. How can I help? I didn't do any of that. So now when I have new realtors that reach out to me, I go, okay, your first month, make a list of every single person your chiropractor, your doctor, your cousin's wife, and call them all and tell them what you're doing. Don't be a secret agent in real estate. And that's one thing that I've certainly changed in how I do my business now. So it was a very, very challenging time. And then I went on to another team because I thought, lead generation, that's what I need. I need somebody to hand me leads. And I'm going to call them and I'm going to convert sales. And I went over to this team, and it was just absolutely the wrong fit. They were super high pressure, which is not my style at all. And I actually almost got out of the business. And then had another opportunity to join a very small partner team. It was going to be myself and a very experienced RE/MAX agent, and then one other agent. And actually ended up moving up to Airdrie during that time, which for those of you that don't know Calgary area, it's about 20 minutes north. It's a bedroom community of about 75,000 people. And in that year, as three realtors, we did right around 143 transactions. So that was my mentorship and my opportunity. And I still thank Shiloh's story to this day for mentoring me. And, still, like I said, still to this day, I still do things largely the way we did things there, with a huge emphasis on communication. Buyers, but especially on the seller side, they got to be communicated with. So that's kind of my journey. And then, after that year there, I never gotten into real estate to be on a team. I'm from a very entrepreneurial family that owned car dealerships, and decided to go out on my own. And so I've been on my own now for 3 years. And really in the last year, things have really exploded for me.
Yeah. So tell us about, what you did last year and the year before, and what are you on track to do this year?
So what really changed for me was I knew that I wanted to be this, relationship style realtor. I'm not a transactional person, and I don't begrudge anyone. If you're transactional, that's totally cool. Do whatever floats your boat. And I knew that I wanted to be a different type of realtor. And so in January of 2020, I reached out to actually my cousin's brother-in-law, who had been in real estate a long, long time, great guy. And I said, Brad, I'd love to have coffee with you. And can you show me what you have done to build a referral-based real estate business? I said, absolutely, I'd love to do that. So we had a great coffee at a Starbucks. This was right before COVID, so it was horrible timing, but great timing. So he said, Mark, do you have a newsletter? And I said, I have to admit, Brad, I don't have a newsletter. He goes, Mark, that's the first thing you need to do. Like literally this afternoon, you need to go line up a newsletter, whether it's electronic, paper, whatever the case may be. And I went and did that. I took action that afternoon. I found a company here in Calgary called Real Info Box that does not only market reports, they also do them in Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton. Really, really great. And started adding people into that database and sending out that email newsletter. And so that was the first thing I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Real Info Box. That's Mickey, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
very cool. Yeah. Great guy. Great guy.
Yeah.
And so,
well, and sorry, I was just going to add one more thing onto that story. So when I reached out to Mickey, we started having coffees together, and he told me about ninja selling. And I can get into that in a little bit more detail. So I started looking into that, and I read the book, and it was almost like you have those moments in your career where things just galvanize for you, and you just go, yeah, this book is who I want to be as a realtor. 100%. It was my epiphany, whatever you believe, it was a lightning bolt from the heavens that just said, yeah, this is you, Mark, and you follow this and you will have success. And then COVID hit. Yeah.
That's funny. We've been talking about this a lot, and I did a YouTube video on niche, right? And I think you found your niche.
Absolutely.
With that book.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So would you recommend the crowd here, the audience who's listening, who's brand new or a couple years in, would you recommend going into a niche right away?
You know what? I think you have to kind of take a little bit of time and figure out, read books. I mean, read lots of books. I don't read a lot. I have to be honest. I don't, if there's a book that gets my attention, it's probably a pretty good book. I need to do more. I know I need to do more reading, but for sure, I would just say read a lot of books, do a lot of these calls, talk to people that you want to emulate, which I did with my friend Brad. I wanted to 100%, if I can do what Brad is doing, which is that 40 transactions a year, 100% referral based sphere of influence. I mean, that's a pretty good living, right? And you also have your weekends or your evenings and all that kind of stuff. So, I would say you got to be careful too. Like I wish I would have done it sooner, but at the same time, I had a lot of experiences with different types of selling in real estate that helped me get to the point of ninja, of being the type of realtor that I am today.
I can't wait to read that book. That's on my list. But so what did you do all of last year in terms of transactions?
So let's talk cap year versus, so I joined eXp Realty in August of 2019. And
yes.
In my first cap year, including the time of COVID, I didn't do a lot, man. I think I had a worse year than even my better year with when I was on a team. I think I only did 10 or 12 because that's, COVID, unfortunately, although my mindset was good and strong, it did take about 3 months for those transactions to catch up, and I had a horrible start to the year. It was horrible. So I just started implementing all these things. So I did 10 transactions. That's it. But I started implementing, I started doing, I can get into that in a second. So, but when COVID hit, and I thank you, I thank Simone and Pablo, because I don't know, a lot of us were kind of freaking out, right? Like what was going to happen? And I kept going on our Zoom calls, getting encouragement, getting mindset to be strong all day long. And I said, that is not going to, sorry, I get a little emotional. That's not going to be me. I'm going to start calling people. I mean, I think Tom Ferry had a great video. I like him a lot too. But, it was call everyone that you've ever sold a house to and just ask them how they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, don't try and sell them real estate. Like, because nobody knows what's going to be going on here. Just ask them how they're doing. And I went through my whole list, database, and I called, and not text, called everybody. And I didn't get deals out of that, but you know what? It just started solidifying in me the type of realtor that I wanted to be, because I have these great conversations. You know, I'm still to this day friends with a lady that I worked with in hockey marketing back in the mid 90s. And she lives in my community of all things. And we'll get into the community part of it too. But, you know, she's going through a horrible time right now with her parents. They're struggling health-wise. But you just say, hey, I'm here to help. Whatever it takes, if you want me to go look at their roof or whatever it is. And yeah, if they sell their house with me, great. That's obviously a huge bonus. But it's about the giving too. You know, you're part of BNI, Business Networking International. And our motto is givers gain, right?
Yes.
Don't be, to me, I can't be a taker. It's not in me to be a taker. It's in me to be a giver. And I've been rewarded handsomely for that, you know, in the last year. So then fast forward to August 1st, 2020, the transactions start rolling. I joined BNI in September 2020, and I knew that that would take time. It could be a year before I got a referral because it takes time in BNI. So, but when I started focusing on everyday referrals, who do I know that I could help? Who do I know that I could help? All of a sudden things started clicking. People that live in my wife's community. I've been married now for 2 years to my wonderful wife, Natalie, who's my designer and stager. All of a sudden the friends start calling and so-and-so starts calling. And yeah, there was a few Facebook leads that I converted, but your mindset's different when you go, I don't need that online lead. You know, if, you know, here's my minimum standards for working with me, and I'd love to work with you and help you, but you don't need them. And then they just start closing like nothing, because you're not going, oh, we got commission breath, I need a deal today. So so from August 1st, 2020 until today, I think I'm at 36.
Wow.
36. Yeah.
So you've more than triple, and you're probably 6 times your business this year compared to the last cap year.
Correct. Yeah. I mean,
wow.
It's just been huge. And then as you go along, you just continue to say, okay, this is the type of business that I want to be. I wrote a note saying, and I think I mentioned it in our group chat, was I'm always thinking about, okay, who am I going to help today? Who am I going to help today? And things pop up, and you're going to make the calls and you're going to do all that stuff, but people are calling me. Wouldn't that be a business that we'd all want, right?
That's awesome. I heard somewhere, Mark, that success is not what you do, it's who you're being. And I feel that, you know, from what you just said, is that you chose to be a certain type of realtor that you wanted to be. And then things started happening naturally instead of you just going out there and grinding, which you got 10 deals from, which is great.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but 36 transactions in 10 months.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm just so happy for you. But you've shared a lot of gold. So it was BNI.
Yeah.
It was choosing to be the type of realtor that you want to be, which is being of contribution.
Correct.
And then during COVID, you put in the legwork. You called everyone, but you didn't ask for business.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's all about being contribution.
Yeah, exactly. And I would extend that to, you know, in Ninja, they talk about the Ford calls, your customer service calls. And Ford is very simple. It's an acronym for family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So when I call you, I say, hey, John, how's the family? How's work going? You know, what are you guys doing this summer? Are you going to try and get away with COVID? You know, all that kind of stuff. Have those conversations, and they will naturally ask you, as we all know, if you are a realtor, they will ask you how the market is, right? And that's the other piece that I've layered in is, okay, I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt, I'm wearing shorts today, I'm not dressed up like you, but how do I, if people know me and like me, how do I get them to trust me? Well, it's very simple. You have sales help for sure. But before that, know your market. right? You don't need to be a neighborhood expert. It helps, but know your market. You don't have to live there for 20 years. I've lived in my community for a year and a half and I'm doing deals here already. So it's just about knowing your market. You know, if you have a dashboard on your matrix system, have a hot sheet with all the sales and listings and all those types of things.
Absolutely. Now, I wanted to circle back on this because I tell a lot of new agents, they're like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? I said, you know what? Look into your iPhone, you look into your Android, look at your contact list. Make sure that you have your name, number, email, and then get a newsletter going, like a monthly email blast, right? And they're like, oh, I don't know how to do it. You know what I did when I first started, Mark? It was once a month, I would type out like just my own message, what I think about the market is doing. Like it's just text.
Yeah.
And then I CC'd everyone. I didn't even be CC'd.
Yeah.
I CC'd everyone. Like guys, you get, you know, it was so brutal, but you got to do something. And you got to have, you know, once a month, you got to have something.
That's right.
Right? The newsletter and nurturing our database is it. And Mark, after now 4 or 5 years, is starting to see the fruits of the labor.
That's right. Yeah. And the other thing, you know, like we had a fantastic EXP shareholders conference. And for those that don't know about EXP, it's where, you know, we get news on the company, but then there's also great breakout sessions. And of course, I'm honed in on, for my real estate business, is all the referral people. And there's a lady named Tina Beliveau out of Baltimore. And she had this great slide that talked about, you know, how many touch points a year do you want with your clients? Well, when client completes a transaction, you can send them a monthly market report, and you can send them your monthly email newsletter, and all those different things, and birthdays and all those types of things. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, I'm doing a lot of that already, and it was good, right? And then you learn and go, okay, I want to implement that. I want to implement that, but just start doing something. I think would be my recommendation is don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Your something is better than the other guy's nothing, as he's waiting for the perfect email newsletter template, like John was talking about.
Yeah, it's never perfect, right? And I heard this the other day too, is that we always try to perfect something. But the thing is, like, progress is perfection.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you never get to perfection, but progress every single day, 1% better is perfection.
That's right.
So just strive for that. And you got to take action. Even if it's not the right action, you get to figure it out because you'll tweak along the way.
Yeah, exactly. And a great example of that is, so I'm very comfortable doing, you know, Facebook Lives and things like that. So I would do them when I was doing open houses. And so when open houses got shut down, again, I was on a Zoom call with Brent Gove, who some of you may know, and he had a guest on named Kyle Whistle from San Diego. And all these things start working themselves out. So in January, I have a coffee with my friend who is a referral realtor. Then I watched this video in, call it March, with this Kyle Whistle from San Diego. His team sells, I don't know, upwards of 500 homes a year, somewhere in there. They do a large portion of it through video. And I'm like, oh, I can do that. And he said, and Facebook Live is sometimes as effective as produced videos. Now, I think that's changed a little bit. I'm finding less engagement with my Facebook Lives, but I said, okay, well, I can do that. So I started researching streaming platforms and all that kind of stuff, figured it out, and collaborated with Pablo Galvez on, you know, the best streaming platform to use. And I got my mortgage broker, who's my partner in business, really, send him all my leads to come on with me every week and update people, especially during COVID, what was going on with the market. Well, that's turned into, I've missed 1 week in a year and a half. So we've been doing that weekly market update. And, you know, sometimes, you know, you get 20 views, 30 views, 40 views, and I go out, and when I do see people, they're like, oh, we just love those weekly market updates that you're doing. And I'm like, there you go, right? I had a client that had used somebody else prior to trying to sell their home, didn't sell. And they called me and they said, because they knew me, and they said, we just see how hard you're working out there, and we wanted to give you the opportunity. And I was able to sell their home, and they purchased another home as well. So it's consistency too, because I can't tell you how many times I see people try it on Facebook. They do it for a week, they do it for 2 weeks. Oh, well, I had an appointment. It's like, well, no, that's my appointment. Every Thursday at 5, that's my appointment. It's blocked in a calendar, right?
So consistency with video is the key, right? No matter what you're putting out there, put out some content. It has to be consistent over time. You're not going to put out a couple of videos and get a listing.
That's right. Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
But why video? Tell us why.
Well, all the data would suggest that, and Kyle Whistle would say this as well. So if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then, video is worth 1,000,000 words, right? Generally speaking, video lets people see your personality, right? If I post a picture and I post pictures of my new puppy, well, that's all great. Well, but video, I see John's personality, I see my personality, I see Pablo's personality, and you kind of see the type of person that you may want to deal with. And for some people, they'll go, yeah, no, Mark's not my cup of tea. And I'm totally good with that, because there's enough people out there that know me, like me, and trust me, that are going to want to use my services and going to want my help. But generally speaking, that's what I love about video. So we keep it light. We talk about the stats. We'll talk about the Flames game here in Calgary. Talk about the weather. And it's not super highly produced. I got some nice, some backgrounds I use, things like that. But that's, to me, the video thing, because I see a lot of realtors posting the monthly market updates. John, your monthly market update video is fantastic. But just do something, I think, would be my comment. And video just tends to be, you get better traction and views on video.
Yeah, I think so. And I think people get to know you a little bit better, even before they meet you in person. They've already Googled you, they've already YouTubed you, Facebook Live, they already know how you talk, who you're being. And then when they see you, it's kind of like, I already know this guy. Now he has to prove he knows the market, then we're ready to sign. That's
right. And the other thing that happened with video, because Google's robots like video, right? They like serving up video. And so, and I haven't Googled myself recently, but all of a sudden I started showing up in organic search results for eXp Realty Calgary.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's not real estate Calgary, but I can tell you that I've had leads come in because they've seen a sign. They can't remember the realtor's name, and they remember eXp, and they Google eXp Realty Calgary, and guess who they call?
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
Searchability is one thing as well, then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The more content you have out there, the more searchable you are, guys.
That's right. Yeah. So, and what I do is I use a software called StreamYard.
Okay.
StreamYard.com, and you can stream to multiple platforms. So I don't have a huge YouTube channel at all, but I want to start building that. So I stream it to YouTube, I stream it to my business Facebook page and my personal Facebook page, because that business page is what Google sees a little bit more of. So it's worked out, worked really well for searchability, for sure.
Absolutely. So do you still make calls then to your database, or are they all calling you now?
Well, to be quite honest, the last couple of months have been so busy that I've slacked off. Not slacked off because I'm still working, but it's been a little bit more challenging to do those. And in Ninja, it's very clear you're actually supposed to do 50, that's 50 live interviews with people per week. I have not remotely ever gotten to that. And so that's why I feel like I'm still on, they call it the ninja path, because you're always improving, right? You're always trying to get better at what you're doing, refine, how many more calls could I have made in that day? So anyway, point being is no, I've been too busy with transactions and things like that. And I know John will say I need a buyer's agent.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, but I'm getting there. I am getting there. I will say that I've been so fortunate to be able to attract some agents to eXp, and they're great agents, and I've been able to hand off some leads to them. So that's been really fantastic. So, bottom line is I'm not making it enough calls as I should be, but that's, it's part of my process that I'm still learning, right, at 52.
just amazing. It's super inspiring to see. And you're, Mark, you're just such a good guy.
Oh, thank you.
It's just so nice to see good guys win. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is good.
Yeah. What do you see for yourself, Mark, in 5 years, 10 years? Where do you see yourself taking this?
Well, you know, it's funny you asked that. Like, I started implementing some minimum standards, and I definitely now, I had a bit of a moment again the other day where I said, you know, I can see a place in the not too distant future that I will only deal with buyers, as an example, if they are a referral into me. Because they take a lot of time. And if you want a lifestyle, you list to last, right? So that's the other piece of my business that I really envisioned in 2021 as going to almost 50-50 listings buyers. And that's where I am now. So I can see a point where, you know, the listings will come from, you know, my sphere, referrals, things like that. And then buyers will strictly be referral based. So, and then if I have leads, great, I can farm those out to some newer agents that are looking for that. And then, you know, really I see a point in the next, I'm 52, so I really want to be by 55, be able to go to Palm Springs or Phoenix for a few months every winter, and be able to, you know, still work on my business down there, but get to a point where I can start to relax a little bit and get there. So for sure, yeah.
That's awesome. I think you and I should have a conversation. I'm super excited about your plans, and let's help you make that
I would
happen.
love that. That would be great. That'd be great. The one thing you know, and you know, and not everyone is from EXP. Part of what we do at EXP is we have this amazing opportunity to share the model with people, and that part for me has completely fallen off. And although I still have, you know, 4 agents that I have, but, you know, the bottom line is you just do what you can during those times. And I don't beat myself up about it, because I also did 15 firm transactions in May as a single agent. So, you know, so then you go, okay, it's okay. I'm not going to worry about that for now, because those are also really helpful when people are interested in joining a brokerage, right? They want to work with people that are successful. So.
Exactly. Wow, 15 transactions as a single agent. I don't know if you slept in May then. But
yeah, not a whole lot. No. And only 5 sorry, that was April, 15 in April, and then 5 in May. So I felt like May was a big letdown, but you know, I'm at 26 closed and firm in Canada. It would be, you know, it's going to go through. So 26 for 2021 already, calendar year.
Oh goodness. Well, that's big. That's really big. What's your why, Mark? Just curious.
You know, my why is I came from a place of a lot of debt, and, you know, going through the divorce and making some horrible financial decisions. So, but, you know, more than that, it's really to help people. So I think your why can kind of be a couple of things. It can be, okay, well, overall, what's your overarching why? And for me, it's helping people with real estate. And you end up actually being, a bit of a sounding board for people. And, you know, they talk about real estate agents being, you're a bit of a counselor and you know, all that kind of stuff too. So it's really to help people and to give, right? To give back. And then, you know, I have a lot of reasons personally. I talked about debt elimination and things like that. So, you know, if you're truly there for whatever your why is, if it's to make money and to have things, that's great. Whatever your why is, make it clear, right? And then everything flows within that. Everything you do, your marketing, all that stuff flows within your why. And you don't ever have to question what you're doing, because it's all based on what your why is. That's my thought anyway.
Absolutely. Be clear on your why, guys. The why power, it trumps everything. Don't have to worry about the how. You get clear on your why, everything will just happen naturally, flowing, like Mark says. Mark, any last advice for the audience?
Work hard. You know, I grew up in a family where hard work was, you know, stamped on my brain. You know, we get into real estate, and I've fallen into this too, where it's like, I got nothing going on this afternoon. There's always something you could be doing, whether that's, you know, going to a coffee shop and working there and chatting with people and handing out cards, or if you're a cold caller or door knocker, because there will be time for you to slow down. And that was my overarching thought in the past few months as things have kind of gone through the roof here. There will be time to slow down and to breathe, but while you've got it going, keep it going. I don't ever write one deal in a week. It always is multiple deals. I go in spurts, but the spurts have just now carried on, right?
Right.
And then, if you want to be that referral realtor, then that's who you are, and ask for referrals. I just had a closing yesterday. I'll close with this. I know we're out of time. Had a referral yesterday, and this is from Ninja. Okay. So you may want to write this one down. It's not my own. So the Ninja line for referrals is when you are literally handing off the keys, you're done, you've given them a possession gift. You say, "Oh, John, it was so great working with you. Like, I just loved it. But the only challenge now, John, is you need to replace yourself." And it's a bit of a joke, right? And then they say, "Oh, that's funny. But I got a referral yesterday for a client who is looking for an acreage property." So, and I'm reminding myself, you got to ask for the referrals and know how to ask for them. And that is just such a great way to do business.
Guys, get the book, Ninja Selling. Do it. So Mark, how can we reach you? How can we send you referrals? How can we join your team?
Yeah, so just reach out to me on Facebook. I'm completely public. That's the other real quick tip. And this is not for everyone, but my personal page is where all my real estate goes. And I use my business page this is on a tip from Jesse Loader from EXP in Edmonton. He only uses his business page to buy ads. So everything's on my personal page. I'm completely public. If you can actually spell my last name, you can also find me on Facebook, but also on Instagram as well. Connect with me. And I'm definitely looking to work with agents that want to grow and want to, really determine the type of agent they want to be, because I think I have some experience and might be able to help you there.
Well, thank you, Mark. Again, it's so good to see a nice guy win at the end of the day, and all the best to you. Big congratulations. And we're so honored and privileged to partner with you. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, John. Thanks, everybody.
You guys.